Hello, today we're going to be looking at tax file declarations. Tax file declarations can be lodged automatically using your KeyPay software. Tax file declarations can also be lodged manually with the details filled in. And KeyPay will take care of working out the withholding calculation when you're performing your payroll. Tax file declaration settings are used when we're creating new employees. To create a new employee, go to the Employer menu and click Add New Employee. Begin filling out the details. The last page of the Add Employee wizard is the tax file declaration. KeyPay has a built-in algorithm that validates the tax file number declaration when you enter it. If you enter an incorrect tax file number in this field, it won't let you save the tax file number. Under certain circumstances, you may not have a tax file number. Either the employee didn't quote a tax file number, the employee has applied for a tax file number but doesn't have one yet, they're under 18 and they're under the current limit that they need to have a tax file number, the employee has claimed an exemption from quoting a tax file number, the employee has quoted an invalid tax file number. Let's say in our case the employee has quoted an invalid tax file number. Each of these settings will generate a unique tax file number that the ATO recognises being linked to one of these situations. Otherwise, fill in your tax file number here. Previous surname is used in cases where the employer may be married or have a previous surname last time they filled in a tax file declaration. The tax calculation options are preset on probably what is the most common option, which is that the employee is an Australian resident and they claim the tax-free threshold. You can press the pen to edit these details, and we have a whole bunch of different details that pop up that you can select at your option. The Australian resident for tax purposes option is chosen by default. Generally, you're considered to be an Australian resident when you've always lived in Australia, or you're an overseas student doing a course that goes for more than 6 months to complete, or you've been in Australia continuously for 6 months or more, and for most of that time you've worked on one job and lived in the same place. Or you've been in Australia for more than half of the financial year, unless your usual home's overseas and you don't intend to live in Australia. If you're not an Australian resident, foreign residents are taxed differently. There's a higher rate of tax applicable to foreign residents' taxable income, and foreign residents aren't entitled to the tax-free threshold. So you'll see a higher rate of tax coming out on the pay if this option isn't ticked. The next option that's ticked automatically is claiming the tax-free threshold. The tax-free threshold is the amount of income that you can earn in each financial year, and it's not taxed. Claiming the tax-free threshold reduces the amount of taxes withheld from your pay during the year. It's available only to people who are Australian residents for tax purposes, and have checked the box that says Australian residents for tax purposes above. The next option, which by default isn't ticked, is where the employer wants to claim the seniors and pensioners tax offset. They should choose this option if the employee is eligible to choose and claim the seniors and pensioners tax offset with you, the employer. It'll reduce the amount withheld from the payments. The next option is to claim the zone, overseas forces or dependent invalid and carers tax offset. The employee should only really claim this option with one payer. They should check the box if they're eligible to choose and receive tax offsets by reducing the amount withheld from payments made to the employee from you, the employer. If they're not entitled to any of these options, or they receive it as a lump sum payment at the end of the year, they shouldn't claim this option. The next option here is the accumulated help debt and also the financial supplement debt. The accumulated help debt is chosen if the employee has a higher education loan payment or a trade support loan debt. Also, if the employer has a financial supplement debt, they should check this option as well. After the employee earns a certain amount, an additional amount will be withheld from their pay, which will go towards offsetting the help debt repayment and the financial supplement debt repayment, which is required to be paid when they lodge a tax return at the end of each year. Some employees may opt to have an approved withholding variation, where they've applied with the ATO, and the ATO has approved that they can have a withhold variation from their pay. If that's the option, tick this box. Select the date that the employee has signed the tax file declaration form. If you'd like to lodge this information with the ATO automatically, check the box and press Done. Because we're dealing with fake data in this case, I'm going to keep that box unchecked because I don't want to lodge it with the ATO. Click Done when you're ready. You can change any of the tax file declaration settings at any time to existing employees. Choose the employee and go to tax file declaration. All these same options we just went through are made available, and the employment type of the employee lives here as well. You can choose full-time, part-time, labour hire, superannuation income stream, or casual. It also shows the status of whether the ATO has received this information, and if they haven't, we can either mark it as lodged, which doesn't lodge it but marks it as lodged, perhaps if you've sent it in the mail, or you can lodge it with the ATO by clicking that button. Finally, if you've imported a bulk number of employees, or you're migrating data across from another system, you may want to do a bulk lodgement of employees to the ATO. We can do this by going to Reports, scroll down to ATO Reports, and Tax File Declaration Reporting. From here, we can filter our report by location. In this case, I'm going to go with the primary location. I'm going to show all the employees. And it displays for me their employee start date. To be able to generate these settings with the ATO, you'll need to ensure that the ATO supply settings have been completed. Go to Business, Payroll Settings, and ATO Supplier Settings. Here, we need to put in ABN details and a few other details. When those settings have been completed, go to the Actions menu and click Generate. You choose the reporting period. Once you generate that report, it'll download a text file on your computer in a .tfd format to lodge that electronically through your software. If you wanted to lodge it directly through KeyPay, you go to Actions and Lodge electronically, and we can lodge those as being lodged in bulk. If you've sent them off manually, you have the option of checking those employees off and clicking Mark as Reported. Select the date that they're reported, and choose Report. They won't show up on any future tax file declaration reports that we generate. I hope you're now comfortable with how to set and lodge the tax file declaration reporting as part of KeyPay, and conveniently be able to lodge those details to the ATO electronically. If you have any questions, as always, you can reach out to us on support@yourpayroll.com.au. Thanks for listening.